Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and we are going to continue talking about our Turkish Getup nerd math. Our nerd math for Turkish Getup is a little bit less mathy because you tend to be doing sets of one. We tend to be moving for time under tension for our primary goals in Turkish Getup. This 10-minute goal that we talked about in a previous video, you can repeat with every weight you have. If you have a 16, an 18, a 20, a 24, 22, 26, all the way up. Or you'd have 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It's always harder on the women because they don't have the smaller jumps like men have. We have 16, 18, 20. They have 8, 10. I don't know of anybody who makes a 9 right now, so it tends to be harder for women, and we tend to put in extra steps somewhere along the line to make the program take twice as long per weight so that they end up as the same overall time period. There are tricks that we do in order to solve those problems. We're talking about the full movement. Normally, there's a lot of training that goes in before we get to the full movement because people have to learn all the steps. You have to do the floor press, the roll to the side, the elbow push, the hand, draw the leg back through, knee equal with hand, orient your body upright, stand all the way up, reset, and get all the way back down for each rep. Each rep takes a long time, 15 to 30 seconds. They could take as long as a minute if you're using a really heavy weight. That 10 minutes, we're looking for a 10 plus on each side. If it's 30 seconds on each side, then it's 10 on each side, which is 20 total reps, which is a lot of volume. So think about that, getting 10 plus on each side for sets of one, staying under tension the entire time. We move into further goals. You have your options. If you finish your 10 minutes under load, you can either get a heavier weight and run the cycle over again, which is what most people end up doing. If you don't have heavier weights, then we need to start setting further goals for the weights that you have. Getting to just 10 minutes tends to be pretty annoying for most people, and they tend to want to stop doing Turkish Getups for a while and move into other types of training, more complex types of training. But we can always come back to this. We can always go back and repeat and start doing sets of 2, sets of 3, sets of 4, sets of 5. This becomes a nightmare very, very quickly because if each rep is good, has good fixation, then a set of 2 now becomes 60 seconds under load for each side. A set of 3 becomes 90 seconds. A set of 4 becomes 2 minutes. A set of 5 becomes 2.5 minutes. So you are doing a Turkish Getup. To get to 5 reps, you have to hold on for 2.5 minutes. Think about what other activities require you to be in lockout and shoulder under load, chest under load for 2.5 minutes. How much bench press could you do in 2.5 minutes? Think about if you're doing bench press and you're doing a normal pace, let's say like 3 seconds down, 2 seconds, hold at the bottom, 2 seconds press up at the top. If you're doing your times like that, that is 7 seconds. A set of 3 is 21 seconds. A set of 5 is 35 seconds. A set of 10 is 70 seconds. Getting to a set of 5 is really, really, really hard for even very well-trained athletes with anything above, say, a 24K. Because holding on to something for 2.5 minutes like that, it's a massive amount of engagement. That's why kettlebells continue to work for a long period of time. For a while, about 10, 12 years ago, people were setting goals of 5 sets of 5 on each side without setting the weight down. Think about that. That is 25 minutes under load. 2.5 minutes left, 2.5 minutes right is 5 minutes. That's just set 1. Repeat that 5 times in a row without putting the weight down. That was a crazy goal. A lot of people stopped doing it because it's very, very, very hard to achieve. That's a ridiculous kind of goal, which is kind of fun because I like ridiculous goals. The best thing to do when you go from sets of 1 is to obviously go to sets of 2. Change the smallest amount of things that you can at one time. Set of 1, 30 seconds. Set of 2, 60 seconds. That's already a pretty massive jump in the requirement of your body. And then usually people can set another 10-minute goal and they'll build up to, say, 10 on each side again, but it'll only be 5 sets instead of 10 sets. Getting to sets of 3 sets of 3 on each side tends to be a little over 10 minutes. That's pretty hard. This is assuming that you're staying with your time under tension protocol and not putting the weight down. If you get up into crazier types of Turkish get-up training, then you will eventually start to treat it just as strength training. You would do a set of 3, a set of 4, or a set of 5 like you would do in barbell, and then you would set it down and you would take a defined break period, just like you do in barbell. If you're doing real barbell training, then you're picking a heavy weight, you're doing 3 sets of 3, you're doing 2 to 5 minute break periods in between to give your body time to rest. The point of Turkish get-ups is your shoulder gets a chance to rest, but nothing else does. But when it gets really heavy, then you're gonna need a total body rest. It gets really serious really quickly. And you can push those from 1 minute break, allow your heart rate to settle down. Because if you're doing a set of 3 and you do 3 reps, let's say that's 90 seconds, you take a 1 minute break, that other side is actually getting a 2.5 minute break. The shoulder, not the whole body, just the shoulder. Then you can do sets with 1 minute breaks in between. But just doing 3 sets of 3 like that takes a 90 second, add 1 minute in between, becomes 2.5 minutes, times 3. So if you add left and right together, suddenly you're at 5 minutes. Suddenly you get up to a 15 minutes just to have a 1 minute break between sides. Did I do that math right? Somebody will tell me if I didn't. People always tell me if I do something wrong. You've heard of NFL teams and like USC football doing this in order to replace bench press because it's the whole body. Bench press is an awesome exercise and people have used it for many, many years in order to do upper body development. And obviously I don't do enough of it, and people tell me that all the time. I don't look enough like a trainer. But if you do this, you will end up very, very strong, and you will end up more with that chesty look that people so often desire. But be aware it is very hard. It is very technical. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, and it's going to require you to be very, very good. There are other ways still to do nerd math. Turkish get-up is such an elaborate exercise that there are many ways to do it. This has all just been talking about doing the full movement. Ripping it apart and doing it in pieces and everything like that, that's gonna be a whole nother talk. That could be 10 more videos. As always, treat this like an engineering equation. How many weights do you have? What are you trying to accomplish? And how much time do you have? How much time do you have is a really critical factor in choosing time under tension versus strength training. If you're going to try to build up to 5 sets of 5 with a heavy weight, you're looking at 25 minutes just to accomplish the task. If you start throwing in strength period breaks of 2 minutes between sets, you're going to push that straight up into a 15-minute workout really fast. So you have to figure out what ones you want to do based on the time that you have. That's most of what a trainer's job is, trying to maximize the amount of stuff and benefit you can get in the allotted amount of time. Most people don't have more than an hour to train. If you do, you're probably doing something semi-professionally, and that's a different story. That's a different story entirely. This has been Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica.